The British Institute was founded in 1984, and we've helped thousands of people develop their English language skills. Using communicative, student-centered, and task-based approach, our academic team ensures that our delivery methods are up to date. Our public class students undergo a variety of courses such as very young learners, pre-teenagers, teenagers, general English, business communication, conversation, writing, and many more. Naturally, the lessons are accompanied with various fun activities. In the last few years, English has become essential for business. Our corporate training is here to provide the necessary English language coaching for companies or institutions that want to increase their competitive value. The demand to pursue a degree abroad increases year by year. Our exam preparation class will help you achieve your desired score and teach you strategies to face your chosen international exam. As the only authorized CELTA center in Indonesia, TBI is an extension of University of Cambridge English. CELTA is the world's leading teacher training qualification. We also provide teacher training programs for teachers or for those who wish to teach. Established more than 35 years ago and has branches in many major cities in Indonesia. Recognized by the University of Cambridge English as the only CELTA center in Indonesia. Our teachers have international certifications and are experienced. Follows international standards of teaching and assessment methods. Has taught more than 50,000 people and in more than 1,000 companies. We've helped them compete in the marketplace. When's your turn?
Hello everybody, how are you today? Semoga Bapak dan Ibu semua dalam keadaan sehat dan tetap produktif. Jangan lupa untuk tetap menjaga kesehatan dan kebersihan diri, khususnya di masa pandemi seperti sekarang ini. Perkenalkan, saya Yadin, Corporate Sales Supervisor TBI Pondok Indah, dan saya akan menjadi host untuk acara hari ini. Mewakili TBI, saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada seluruh peserta yang sudah hadir pada hari ini. Workshop hari ini merupakan series ketiga dari rangkaian corporate workshop kami di tahun 2021. Tema yang diambil kali ini adalah Improve Your Presentation, Presenting Data yang akan dibawakan oleh pengajar kami, yaitu Miss Natalia Desivinanda. Perlu kami informasikan pula bahwa guru-guru yang mengajar di TBI sudah memiliki CELTA, yaitu sertifikat mengajar bahasa Inggris yang sudah diakui secara internasional, dan TBI merupakan satu-satunya tempat kursus bahasa Inggris di Indonesia bersertifikat The University of Cambridge English untuk menjalankan kursus pelatihan CELTA. Jadi sudah sangat terpercaya sekali bahwa sebagai lembaga kursus bahasa Inggris untuk melakukan hal tersebut. TBI English with the best. Agar acara dapat berjalan dengan baik, saya ingin meminta kerjasama dari Bapak dan Ibu untuk mematikan mikrofon atau mute, namun silakan jika ingin menyalakan videonya. Bapak dan Ibu diharapkan bisa mengikuti workshop ini sampai dengan selesai, karena selain materi yang akan disampaikan, yang akan sangat bermanfaat sekali, nanti juga para peserta akan mendapatkan study vouchers. Ada 2 study vouchers-nya, yaitu yang nominal Rp1.000.000 dan Rp1.000.000, dan juga nanti akan mendapatkan e-certificate. Untuk kesemuanya itu nanti akan dikirimkan melalui email peserta. Baik, sebelum acaranya dimulai, saya ingin menyebutkan agenda untuk hari ini. Untuk agendanya, ya, untuk yang pertama yaitu opening by MC yang barusan sudah saya lakukan. Kemudian nanti akan ada pemberitahuan atau juga informasi dari Miss Tamara mengenai TBI program, dan juga akan ada TBI workshop by Miss Natalia Desivinanda. Selanjutnya akan ada Q&A session, dan juga akan ada photo session, dan yang terakhir akan ada feedback from completion. Ya, sebelum acara kita mulai, saya ingin memperkenalkan terlebih dahulu para pembicara pada hari ini. Yang pertama yaitu Miss Tamara Tanuatmaja, beliau sebagai TBI Academic Manager.
Tamara, Bos.
Hello everyone.
Oke, dan juga ada Miss Natalia Desivinanda, beliau sebagai TBI Pondok Indah Teacher. Untuk mempersingkat waktu, kami mempersilahkan Miss Tamara untuk memulai acara hari ini dengan memberikan informasi mengenai program-program yang ada di TBI. Untuk waktu, kami persilahkan Miss Tamara.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. It's very nice to meet you all. As my colleague Yadin has said, my name is Tamara Tanwatmaja. I'm the academic manager of TBI, and I'm here to assist Desi and also introduce you to a few of our range of products. As you can see here, we have quite an extensive range of products, from young learners to our latest edition, the digital learning. However, since this is a corporate workshop, I would like to introduce you to some of our corporate programs. Now, the first program that we've got is the Business Communication Program. Now, this is a multi-level English course for students who want to learn English and learn about business, and for business people who want to advance their careers. You learn through a task-based integrated skills approach to business skills, such as presentations, negotiations, meetings, and small talk. The second program is the business writing. Now, this course will help you write more effectively and confidently in English. You will be able to organize your writing and use appropriate style to write more frequent types of business English documents, such as emails, reports, letters, and many more. Now, the third program that we've got is the business negotiation. Now, in this course, you'll take part in many role plays and skill building activities. Okay, you will decide when to be open to suggestions, when to refuse, practice asking probing questions, and boost your own persuasiveness. Now, in the fourth program, we've got the business presentation program. Now, this course will help you prepare form presentations. You learn how to start and finish, what to put in and what to leave out, when to stick to your plan, when to drop it. You'll also learn how to use your voice, display appropriate body language, and handle questions from the audience. Now, on top of that, I've got a few of our promotion. Yeah, so I would like to inform you about this month's promotion for public classes. Now, first, we are offering young learners classes at 50% discount until the end of this month. Now, this is for the children from the age of 4 to 15. We also have a free conversation class only for this month. Now, this is actually for adults. Yeah. Finally, we also have a new program called the Speak Kidsy. Now, this is a conversation course for young learners. Now, in this program, we will develop your children's fluency through topic-based activities. Now, in addition to our programs and promotion, I would like to invite you all to another corporate event at the end of this year. Now, it will be held on Saturday, the 4th of December at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. via Zoom. Now, it will be delivered by Desi here. And we will be conducting another workshop on email writing in English, titled Simple Ways to Master Email Writing in English, for the price of 100,000 or 150,000 for 2 people. You will receive an e-certificate for attendance, an e-voucher, as well as an e-booklet of the key points of writing an email in English, which would be useful, which would be a useful reference point for you when you have to write an email in English later on. Now, if you're interested in any of our programs, please contact TBI Corporate or TBI Pondok Indah for more details. That's all from me. Thank you very much for listening. I shall pass you back to Yadin for the next item in the agenda.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih Miss Tamara untuk informasinya. Selanjutnya, kami akan memperkenalkan pembicara utama hari ini, yaitu Miss Natalia Desivinanda, atau biasa dipanggil dengan Miss Desi. Miss Desi merupakan guru TBI Pondok Indah dan sudah bekerja di TBI hampir lebih dari 10 tahun. Dan beliau mendapatkan sertifikat CELTA di tahun 2013 ya Miss ya, dan dengan nilai tes. Hai Miss Desi.
Hi, good morning everyone. Morning
Good morning,
Yadin.
Miss. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, Miss. So, are you ready for today, Miss, to deliver the workshop?
Yes.
Oke.
Very excited.
Baik. Ya, untuk waktu dan tempat kami persilahkan Miss Desi.
All right. Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Yadin, and all my colleagues from TBI Pondok Indah. I'd like to welcome everyone here today that has joined us in this workshop. And I also want to give a warm welcome to everyone who are outside Jakarta, because I know that some of the participants don't reside in Jakarta. So welcome to TBI's workshop. It is an interactive workshop, so I hope that you would be actively participating. There are games, races, discussions, activities, and exercises. So whenever you need to speak, you can just feel free to unmute yourself. And then when you don't need it back, you can mute your microphone again. There is a handout that we have given you through your email, but I'm going to give it again through the chat box. I think Ms. Tamara will help me. I want you to prepare your handout, prepare a pen and a piece of paper in case you have to write notes, or if you have any questions, you can ask me through the chat box or in the Q&A session, okay? The materials for today are normally given to students of pre-intermediate and also intermediate level in business communication or in IELTS preparation. I will be speaking in English, but if you want to ask me in Bahasa, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to use the opportunity to practice your English, then that would be great. Okay, so I think we can start now. Ms. Tamara, I hope that you have given the handout through the chat box to the participants. Okay, so we have 70 people now already. And I think we can just start right away. So get your pen and a piece of paper ready. And then you can also have the handout ready. Okay, so let's see. Okay.
Saya bantu untuk handout-nya.
Okay. So we will be using it in this first activity, but yes, please, as soon as possible for the students, or I think you can also open your email and find the handout on your email account. Okay, so in TBI, we always start with a game. So I'm going to give you or show you a picture. You need to tell me what it's called. And then you will write your answer on the chat box. The fastest typer with the correct answer will win the game. Okay? So are you going to use your microphone or you're going to write down the answer on the chat box? Microphone or chat box? Chat box. Yes, thank you, Gloria. Good morning. Okay, are you ready? Okay, picture number 1. What do you call this? Give me 1 second. Yes. What do you call this? Table, very good. Arianche, yes. Okay, next. What do we call this? Excellent. Yes, pie chart. Thank you. Next. Graph. Line chart, line graph. Yes, excellent. Good. Last one. Good. Okay. Bar graph. Yep. Okay. We can also call it histogram. Okay. So very good. Thank you for participating. These are just examples on how you can make visuals of your data or numbers. But there are also other ways. For example, you can use a pictogram. usually like the pictures of people. And then you can also use a diagram when you want to describe a process. Okay, so next, let's talk about what to describe when we have the data or a graph or a chart. Yeah. In this session, I've summarized 4 points, and I'm going to use this video as an analogy for today. Okay, so let's take a look at the video. Okay, I'm going to play the video for you. All right. Okay, so now who can tell me what they're doing? Who can tell me what they're doing? Anybody? You can unmute yourself. Anyone? Okay, so let me see the chat box. Okay, swimming. Yes. Okay, do we know the distance that they're swimming? What is the distance?
50
Good.
meter.
Yes, thank you. And how many swimmers are there?
8.
8. Very good. And you know in what race are they swimming in?
Olympic race.
Olympic race. So we know the components of the data, and we also know what they're doing, so the movement. Okay, so do we know whether the swimmers are swimming at the same speed? Are they swimming at the same speed?
No.
No. Yes. Okay, so basically that's what we want to know first. We need to identify the components and the movements. Okay, when they are swimming, we want to know who's fast, who's slow, who's in the number 1 position, who's at last, who started first fast, and then are they moving slower, are they moving faster, things like that. So we want to identify the components, what are in the data, and then after that we want to analyze the movements. Okay, so sorry, let's take a look at the video again. Okay, just by looking at the picture, if I ask you to write down number 1 as the fastest and number 8 as the slowest, do you think you can put them in order? Bisa?
No.
Just by looking at the picture?
Yes.
Oh,
Who do you think?
yes. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So you have to imagine that your audience who are listening to you presenting, they can know this. So what you don't want to do is to list just number 1, swimmer number 1, number 2, swimmer, etc., 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 etc. First, it'll be boring. And then the second one, it'll be too obvious. And that comes number 3. Okay, we need to find similarities and differences, and we need to make the data has meaning, or we need to make connections. So for example, take a look at the picture again. We know that the first swimmer, the fastest one, is number 1. Who is the last swimmer?
Number 3.
Number 3.
Okay, can you tell me 4 swimmers who are relatively swimming at the same speed? 4 swimmers who are swimming relatively at the same speed.
With 5.
Number 5,
6, 7, 8.
5,
5.
8.
6, 7. Number 5.
6, 7.
Okay, it's actually 2, 4, 5, 8. Yeah, and then there are 2 swimmers who are just a little bit behind the first swimmer. Who are they? 2 swimmers who are just a little bit behind the first swimmer.
6 and 7.
6 and 7.
7
Okay.
and 8.
6 and 7.
6 and 7, yes.
That's what you want to do. You want to group the information, or you want to group the data based on their similarities and differences. And then we can know what is the gap between the fastest and what is the gap between the slowest. Okay. So now let's take a look at the last one. The last one is the overall trend. Yeah, a lot of the times you will find the overall trend at the beginning of the presentation or at the end of the presentation. But an overall trend or a general trend is the most important thing that you want to highlight about your data. or about the graph or about the chart. Yeah. If you were watching a race, let's see this race, what do you think is the most important information that the audience want to know? If we were watching this Olympic race, what do we want to know? The result, the winner.
Yeah, the winner.
Very good. Anything else?
The fastest.
The score.
The score or the speed or the
speed.
time? Yeah,
Yes.
very
speed.
good. Okay. And then there's one thing that we want to know. I want you to try to find a common trait that applies to everyone in the group or applies to maybe the majority of the group. Okay, so let's see. Surprisingly, number 6 is the winner. So in 55 seconds, the person could finish the race. The second one is at 58 seconds. Number 1 is at 59 seconds. Okay, a common trait could be, for example, the top 3 winners or the top 3 swimmers finished the race less than 1 minute. That could be your overall trend, yeah? Or you can say something that applies to the 8 swimmers. For example, nobody finished more than, can you tell me? Nobody finished the race more than 1 minute and how many seconds? 1 minute
15.
and 1 minute and 15 seconds. So there are probably the fastest swimmers in the whole world, because I don't think I can do 50-meter race in 5 minutes. Yeah. So that's what you want to remember. Components, movements, identify them, avoid listing, finding similarities and differences, and finding the general trend, or to summarize the most important information from the data. Okay. So now we know what to describe. Now we're going to move to the language. I'm going to give you a table. You're going to analyze the table with your friends in the group. I'm going to put you in breakout rooms. There will be numbers, room 1, breakout room 2, etc. You will have to remember your group's name, because I'm going to call you by your group name. Read the table and then choose the correct words to fill in the blanks from the words next to the table. Okay? You have around 5 minutes to do this. So I'm going to put you in the breakout room. What do you have to remember about your breakout room?
Group.
The group number. Yes, you can discuss in Bahasa or you can discuss in English. I would be happy to see everyone trying to participate in English. Read the table and then fill in the blanks with the correct words by analyzing the table. Hi, okay. So I see, I think some people still need to get to know each other. And there were a couple of people that had some problems with the handout, but let's take a look at the table again. Yeah? Okay, so I'm going to share the screen with you. I see, okay. So, let's see. Okay, so did anybody get the chance to actually do number 1? Okay.
Number 1 is better.
Better, excellent. Okay, compared to the Kendall Hotel, the Premda is better value for money. So how did you find out, Noor?
Because compared to the Kendall Hotel and the Prem hotels, we see from the table value for money the Premda have checklist 2.
Yes.
The Kendall Hotel only 1.
Very good, excellent. Okay, what about number 2? Anybody wants to volunteer? Did anybody do this? Equally, excellent. Yeah, both the Premda and the Court Hotel are equally good value for money. What does that mean? Does that mean similar or different?
Similar.
Similar, excellent. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the answer key, and maybe you can take a look whether your answers are the same with what I have over here. Yeah,
Exactly the same.
But exactly the same. Excellent. Okay, so now I want to highlight are these 3 types of language that would be useful when you are finding similarities and differences, or what we call comparing and contrasting data. So I've got blue bolded words and then black bolded words. Which ones do you think are linking words? Which ones do we call linking words?
The
Blue or
blue
black?
one.
The blue ones, okay. Which ones do we use to actually show or to link 2 opposite ideas or to talk about contrasting ideas? Which ones do we use? Compared to,
Compared to.
while, unlike,
unlike,
although,
yeah.
good, however, even though. Yeah, and then the other 2 are comparative and superlative forms. Comparative would be
Better,
better,
equally,
fewer, lower,
the
and then the
highest.
superlative would be the highest, the furthest. Yeah, very good. Okay, so these 3 types of language would be very useful if you want to compare and contrast data. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I'm just going to do a very small, a very short game. Yeah. I want you to take a look at these 3 multiple choices. I'm going to give you a word. You have to tell me what does the word mean. Okay. So this vocabulary is useful when you want to describe trends or movements or changes. Yeah. Ready? Number 1, quickly. Quickly. Is it a small change, large change, or sudden change? Quickly.
Sudden.
Yes, very good. Oh, give me 1 second. Oh, sorry, not this one. Quickly. A slow step-by-step change, a rapid change, or a constant regular change? Which one?
Repetitions.
Excellent. Yeah. Gradually.
A
Puput?
constant.
Okay. Gradually would be a slow step-by-step change, and steadily would be a constant regular change. Yeah. Okay, next. How about significantly? Significantly.
A large change.
Large change.
Excellent. Sharply.
A small change.
Small
A sudden change.
A sudden
A
change.
sudden
Excellent.
change.
Thank you. And then slightly would be a
Small
small
change.
change. Yeah. Okay. So now I have this table with 6 categories. 1, describe a movement up, down, small movement, medium or large movement, verb, adverb combination, and adjective and noun combination. Okay. And then I have 6 phrases over here. I want you to put them in the correct category, and then you can use the phrases in more than 1 category. So let's do this together. Yeah. Sales grew slowly. Sales grew slowly. Movement up or down?
Movement up.
Good. Yeah, from the word grew, grow. Small, medium, or large movement? Slowly.
Small.
Slowly small.
Small. Excellent. Okay. So grew slowly. Grew, what kind of word is grew? Verb
Describe
or
movement.
adjective? So grew, verb or adjective? Verb. Thank you. And then slowly, adverb or adjective?
Adjective.
Mm, adverb. So grew slowly would be verb and adverb.
Adverb.
Okay, let's do this together again for B. We saw a steady improvement. A steady improvement. Steady?
Adjective.
Excellent. Good. Improvement.
Noun.
A noun. Excellent. So you put it in the adjective and noun combination.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to give you 2 to 3 minutes. Can you do independently, individually, C to F, put them in the correct category. Okay. 3 minutes from now, go ahead. You can ask me anything through the chat box. If you are unsure, you still have around 2 more minutes. I want to say hi to some of the people I know. I think I have Puput and Datri, my Datri and my mom. She's here. I've got Ken, Mita, and also Kila, and also Farah. Some of the people I know. Thank you so much for coming, and for the other participants.
Tanya also.
Yes. Hi, Tanya. Hello. Okay, so let's see. Can I have one volunteer? I think Derry, his microphone is on. Derry, do you want to try answering one? Derry Abdullah?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead. What do you think is C? Where should we put them in the table?
For describe a movement up. Sorry, D.
A considerable C, sorry, C.
C. C under describe a movement down.
Good, excellent. And what do you think? Is it considerable decrease? Is it small, medium, or large?
Wait. Medium.
Medium, excellent. Okay. And is it a verb-adverb combination or an adjective and noun combination? A considerable decrease, a considerable decrease.
Adjective.
It's adjective and noun. Excellent. Okay. So to save some time, I'm just going to move the, sorry. Okay, I'm going to go show you the answer key. Yes. Okay, so I want you to check whether your answers are correct. And if you see the structures, it actually gives you ways for you to not write or say the same things over and over again, or to use the same structure. And if you are using an adjective and noun combination, there's always the article, or an. So it becomes a steady improvement, or we had a considerable decrease, or we experienced a slight growth. So there's always the or an or the, yeah? Okay. So in handout, you also have this. It's a table of different vocabulary that you can use when you're describing movements, up, down, stable, and on the right side, there is the word a plateau, a phrase to plateau or a plateau. Can anyone tell me what's the difference between a period of stability and a plateau? When do we use a plateau? Anybody know? What's the difference between to stabilize and to plateau? Okay, to plateau is actually when there was an increase or a decrease before, and then it reaches a stable period. Yeah. So when you use a plateau, it has to be followed by an increase or a decrease before. So if you are looking at a graph, it'll be like or yeah. So a plateau is a stable period after an increase or decrease. Yeah. Okay, so now I want you to write down your own versions of these graphs. I'm going to give you maybe 2 minutes. Yeah, you can write down using verb and adverb combination or an adjective and noun combination. It's up to you. I want you to do the second or the third graph. We did one as an example. For example, the first graph, our sales decreased dramatically. And then the other structure would be there was a dramatic decrease in our sales. Now I'm going to give you 2 minutes maybe. Write down one sentence. You could use any of the structures that we learned before. You can take a look at the table also to find more vocabulary. Go ahead. Write me down on the chat box. Okay, remember the verb-adverb combination and also the adjective and noun combination. Don't be afraid to make any mistakes. And possibly, if you are unsure of writing in English, then maybe, okay, we can, maybe you want to write in Bahasa and see how it goes. Okay, can I see any participants maybe writing down your answers? I think there were a couple of volunteers before. I think Noor, yes, Puput. Number 2. Okay, we've got from Diri Abdullah, our sales increase constantly. Okay, our sales increase constantly. Diri, how do you change? There is something missing. A letter is missing from your sentence. If it's in the past, then you can add one letter. If it's in the present or using present simple, there is also one letter missing. Can you spot what is the mistake over there? And the spelling in constantly. I know what you're trying to say. Our sales increase constantly. Yeah, just the spelling for the constantly. Good. Yeah, constantly. Like what do you call it? Steady. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody wants to try? Haryo, our sales increases. Oh, sorry, that was my bad. Yeah, it's actually increased. Our sales increase 2% every year. Excellent. Anything else? Okay, there was a slightly increase in our sales. Okay, increase over here, a slightly increase. Increase over here is a noun. Yeah. So before that, we use an adjective. What is the adjective form of slightly? There was a slight increase in our sales. Yeah. Number 2, Siti Hajar, we had a considerable increase in our market share. Good. Our sales remain stable during this pandemic. Excellent. Very good. Thank you so much, everyone. Very good sentences, very good versions. And I think by looking at the chat box, you can see people writing the same graph, but in different ways. Yeah. Okay. So this is just, these are just some examples that we prepared. Our sales steadily rose. There was a steady rise in our sales last year and then remain relatively stable. And you can see a stable period. Excellent. Very well done. Okay. So now I'm hoping that you are all already warmed up. And this activity is actually in pairs. So I want you to work with a partner. Okay, and I want you to go describe this chart. Yeah, maybe not in pairs, but I think I'll put you in smaller groups. Yeah, this was taken from theeconomist.com. So it is a real chart that we took from the website. Let's see the steps that we did before. Yeah, what are the components of this chart? Can anybody know? What can you see in the data? What information?
Daily hours.
It's Yeah, it's about daily working hours. Yes. Do you know the countries that they mention? Can we see the names of the countries?
Yes, there
Yes.
are 11 countries
Yeah. Do we know the
selected.
time period? What is the time period of this chart?
4 period
So it's no,
or
not that.
3?
No.
Minutes, yeah.
Oh, 2. January, February, and April.
Very good. So
Yeah,
the
two.
period is
It's
from
2 months.
January, February 2020 to April and May 2020. Yeah. Okay. So what does the 6.5, 7, 7.5, and 8 mean? What do they represent?
They present the daily working hours.
Yeah. So it
in
represents the
country.
very good. So the number of working hours, 6.5 hours, 7, 7.5,
Yes.
etc. How about the blue ones, the blue graph? What does it mean? What does it represent?
Month of
That's
January and
present
February.
the total increase.
Yes, total increase
in
of
minutes.
Yeah, in minutes
In
of
minutes
the working
of
hours.
the
So
working hours.
basically, we working from home, we work more hours than we did in the office. Do you agree or that? Do you agree or not? Do you feel the same way that you're working more hours
Yes,
from
I
home?
agree.
Yeah. Okay. So what can you get? What is the general trend of this chart? Remember, general trend is the most important highlight, or is the trend that applies to everyone or the majority of the group? What do you think is the general trend? What happened? Again, sorry?
The upward trend.
The upward trend, yeah. Every country in the chart experienced an increase in the number of working hours during January, February to April, May 2020. Excellent, you did that very well. Okay, so now I'm going to put you in small groups. I want you to discuss with your friends and I want you to make 1 or 2 sentences describing the chart using the language that we learned before. So try to use the linking words, comparative, superlative forms, and also the vocabulary to describe movements up, down, or big, small, etc. Okay, I'm going to give you around 10 minutes to do this. So I hope that you all will be discussing with your friends, your new friends over here. Okay? Okay, we're waiting for participants to come back. And I would like, although I didn't hear a lot of people discussing their sentences, I do hope some people actually come up with their ideas or their sentences about the chart. So feel free to unmute yourself or raise your hand if you want to speak. I would like to hear any of your ideas, or you can also write it down on the chat box for us to look. Yeah, I'll share the screen again just for you to have the chart. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Oops. Okay, anybody wants to share?
I want to share.
Okay, Noor, go ahead, please.
Wait a minute.
Do you want to share screen or do you want to just read your sentence?
I think just read.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. We see from the survey table, compared to other countries, Israel has the highest total increase of daily working hour. It has 47 minutes. But while Israel has the highest total increase, Israel does not have the longest daily working hours than Russia. Israel daily working hours in April-May is 7.6 hours, while Russia has 7.8 hours.
Okay, excellent. Well done. I think we can give some applause to Noor. I thought you did really good job. You used while, and then after that, you mentioned that Israel had the highest increase, but it doesn't necessarily put them as the country with the highest number of working hours. In fact, it was actually Russia. Yeah, so very well done. Okay, Deri, go ahead. You would you like to ask a question or you want to share your sentence?
Just want to sample the word. Yeah?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sentence.
Go ahead.
There are three countries. There are three countries have a similar increase in minutes of their daily working hours, which is 32. The countries are Australia, India, and United States.
Australia, India, and United States. Good. So you group them based on the total increase. Excellent. Okay. Anything else? Okay, Haryo, go ahead.
I would like. I have two questions. Can I ask?
Yes. Okay. Yep.
Okay. From the graph here, is it depend on the presenter? What we should have sentence regarding to this graph, right? So is it depend on the presenter whether which data or which information that we want to emphasize, and or do we have to describe most of the data in the graph? That is the first one. And the second one, it is related to Miss Noor's sample, because she is comparing with while Israel have the biggest increase, but the working hour is Russia. So when comparing, do we have to use the same type, which is, for example, Israel have the highest increase while South Korea has the lowest increase, or we can compare with two different types, but it's still maybe related to each other.
Excellent questions. Okay, excellent questions. I think if you don't mind, I already wrote down your questions, and then we'll go over it in the question and answer session. Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much for the questions, Haryo. Okay. So anybody wants? I saw Fuad. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Miss. I want to try one sentence for the simple sentence. Is we saw Russia's highest daily hours in 2020.
Sorry, again, what? Can you repeat?
We saw Russia has highest daily working hours in 2020.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we saw that Russia, we can see that Russia has or had.
Oh, had. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, had the highest daily
working hours in 2020.
Yeah, possible. The highest number of working hours possible. Very good. Yep. Okay. Anyone else wants to try? Okay. So I think you did a really good job, and I can't ask for volunteers one by one, but I'm going to show you the sample answer. Sorry. The sample answer that we have, and I think my friend, hopefully I can give you through the chat box. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Tamara. Okay. This is the example that I made for the chart. I'm going to give you around 1 minute. Just take a look at it. First of all, we start with the general trend. it is evident that the number of working hours in every country increased during the working from home period, with an average of roughly 35 minutes per day. Yeah. Before that, we always start with an introduction of what the graph is saying or what the graph is telling. The graph describes the average daily working hours in various countries between January, February to April, May 2020, which we did before together. Yeah. And then you can see Russia had the longest working hours of around 7.8 hours each day. Meanwhile, or at the same time, Israel experienced the highest increase of 47 minutes from approximately 6.8 to 77.6 hours. Okay. In the first graph, in the first paragraph, I actually grouped the highest numbers of working hours or the countries with the highest increase. Yeah. But on the third paragraph, I actually focus on the countries that actually had lower number working hours to begin with. And then after that, I go to other countries that have similar trends. And also, what do you call it? Like, for example, what Danu said, or somebody said, yeah, Australia, India, and the USA all experienced a 30-minute increase. Russia followed at 31 minutes. So usually we will start from the most important information, and then you go to what you think is the most interesting information or the most important. And then as you go down, you can continue with details, other details that you think are important, but probably less important than the previous ones. Yeah. And then we usually conclude something. Yeah. Conclusion can be whatever you said earlier, or it can be a future prediction if it's appropriate. So over here, I said we can conclude that in all of the countries provided, the working time inclined during the pandemic. And normally we would change the words from the graph itself to make it more interesting. Yeah. Okay, so I'll be giving this in the chat box. Hopefully some later on, or Tamara can help you, or we can send it to you through email. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Tamara. I will be needing my screen back. Okay. So I think we arrive in our last activity for today. Okay. I think I'm going to put you in. I think I'm going to keep you in the. I'm going to. Oh, sorry, Fuad, go ahead.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. So Fuad raised a hand.
No.
Okay. I think I'm going to put you in bigger groups. So if there are people who are not participating, then hopefully you can find more people to talk with. Yeah. I want you to read the instructions over here. Okay. You're going to work with other people. I want you to spend 10 minutes to prepare. Yeah, all of you are going to describe some trends. Yeah, and you can describe trends in your company, for example, about sales performance or profit, working hours, or it could be something that happened in our country, maybe inflation rate, unemployment rate, COVID-19 rate, or vaccination, things like that. Or it could be something more personal, like the trends, changes that are happening at home. For example, the amount of time you spend with your family during the pandemic, or maybe the number or the amount of expenses or cost during the pandemic. For example, I put over here, my expenses for online shopping doubled last year because of the pandemic, from 500 to 1 million rupiah. What I actually want all of you to do is, when one is describing a trend, the other people, I want you to listen and draw the graph. You can draw the graph using a line graph, or maybe a pie chart, or a histogram. Depends on how you think is appropriate. Okay, after that, you can show your friend whether you're drawing the graph correctly, or does it represent the trend? Yeah. If you need to ask more information to draw the graph, then you will have to ask more questions. Okay? Yep. So any questions so far about the task? Okay. Maybe spend 5 to 10 minutes to prepare. Think of what you're going to say. Try to exercise the language as much as possible, the linking words, the vocabulary to describe trends, or the comparative or superlative form, and then make a sentence or 2 sentences. And then after that, describe it to your friends and have your friends draw the graph and then take turns. Yeah. Okay. I was very happy to see quite a few of people actually participated and drew the graph. And I think I had Puput also. She drew the graph from Haryo about car sales in the pandemic, before, comparing before pandemic, before and after pandemic, yeah? Between 2019 and 2020. Okay, Puput and Haryo, can you share maybe with the other group, with the big group, sorry, with the big group, the results of what you talked about in the breakout room? And if anybody wants to share their sentences, they can also do it on the chat box, so I can actually copy paste it on the slide so everybody can see. Okay. Puput or Haryo, do you want to take turns? Anybody else from the group? Yep.
Sure, Budes. Please allow me to share our discussion in our group.
Yeah.
We are discussing about the trend of car sales before pandemic and after the current pandemic situation. As you can see here, the stretch in the draft that I draft before, we can see that the trend of car sales in 2019 was 7,000 units, but during the pandemic situation in 2020 and 2021, the trend of car sales has significantly decreased to below 1,000 units. It's because of the PSBB regulation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I think applaud for Puput and Haryo. Anybody wants to share their sentence or maybe show the graph that they drew for their friends? Okay, Noor, I'm guessing you want to share yours?
Okay, I am from room 4.
Yes.
I try to share screen, yeah.
Oh my.
Wow, she had time to do this. I'm very
only Excel.
I'm excited.
Not only Excel, not the chart.
Okay.
I would like to presentate about the student admission percentage of our school. In here, because of pandemic, we have the graphic like down, yeah. First, in 2019, the number of students who enroll to our school is 30% from the total number of current students. And then in 2020, due to the pandemic, the number of students who enroll to our school fell significantly. It is only 5%. And then in 2021, there is a slight growth in enrollment. It is 10%. And then in 2022, the number of students who already in our admission list experience at steady improvement. It is 15%.
Okay.
Is it steady improvement from 10 to 15?
Is it from 2021 to 2022?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think there may be I don't know if it's 5 out of 100, then it's a bit insignificant, yeah, or it's just you know, a small increase. But if it's from 30%, then yes, it's quite significant. Yeah. So you
Steady
can
improvement. We can say steady improvement, Miss.
I think you can say steady improvement if you compare it to the following year. If it still goes at a 5% increase rate, then you can say you have a steady improvement.
Okay.
You could say gradual.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Oh, I see. 2020, 2021, 5%. Yeah, I think you can
It is
say,
quite steady,
yeah, it is quite steady. Sorry, I didn't see the 2020. Okay.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you so much, Noor. I think you did an awesome job.
Thank you.
In what you call it, explaining and also preparing the chart itself. I thought you did well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I stop the sharing.
Yes. Okay. Anybody else wants to share anything? Miss Tamara, have you got any feedback from anyone that you heard?
Well, this one here, there's one in the chat box. It's from Indira and Yudhishthira.
Oh, okay. I've just read it.
Yeah.
Let me just copy it to the
They didn't have time
PowerPoint.
to draw the chart, the graph. So, but
Okay.
it's okay, I think.
Yes, it's definitely okay. Okay, I think I have to split it. Give me 1 second.
Expenses for gardening.
Okay. Is this real or makeup facts? Indira and Yudhishthira.
Based on my experience, I think it's a fact, Miss.
It's a fact, yeah?
Yeah, but I don't know about Miss Indira experience.
Yeah,
about
it's a
that.
fact.
It's a fact, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always interesting if there's a little bit of truth in it, yeah? Okay, I think I would like to share everything that I had on the chat box. I think this was also from Yudhishthira, am I not mistaken? Ms. Tamara, can you check? I think she wrote, or he or she, Yudhishthira? He, yeah? The country that has the highest average daily working. Oh, okay. In addition to that, I saw 5 countries. This is from the previous one, yeah? Both Britain and France is similar, but not too similar. Okay, that last part may be a bit confusing, but other than that, I think it's good. Just remember, you always have to look at the time period. If it's in the past, for example, 2020, it's already in the past, right? So the what do you call it? The data is finished, the time period. So what tense do we have to use? Present or past? Past, yeah? So remember, that's why pay attention to the time, and then you can match the tense that you're using to the time period. Okay. From January to June 2019, Ms. Tamara, I think who wrote this one? The car sales.
This one was car sales. I think this one was from this year.
No, not me.
No.
Okay. Also, this is from Jan to June 2019. The sentence is okay, but the tense again 2019 already in the past. Decrease should be
Decreased.
decrease. And then what is wrong with the spelling for significantly? How do we spell that?
S-I.
Yeah, S-I. I think this is an honest mistake. Okay. Again, in 2021, there is a slight growth. 2021, yes, yeah, I think it's still happening. You can use the present tense. Okay, let me see. Okay, Indira and Yudhishthira, topic number 1, expenses for gardening. Okay, during this pandemic, my expenses for gardening is increased sharply. Okay, this is also interesting. What do you think? What tense do we think we need to use? Is the pandemic over?
Not yet.
Not yet. And the expenses for gardening, is it still increasing?
No, it's because it's already work from office, so it's not increasing anymore.
Okay. So you can say during this pandemic, my expenses for gardening. So if it's already finished, it doesn't happen anymore. What tense do you think we should use?
Was.
So
Past
if
perfect.
Or past perfect, maybe.
so past simple actually.
Past simple perfect.
So what do you think it should be?
Has been increased.
My expenses for gardening
Increased.
increase
Increased,
sharply,
okay.
because if it's finished, yeah, but if you say during this pandemic and it's still going on, then you can say during this pandemic, my expenses for gardening has increased sharply.
Okay.
Yeah, and you don't know when it's going to end. Yeah, but if it's already stopped, then you can use the past simple. Okay, my time in the garden before the pandemic was almost zero again. Yeah, after many hours spending working from home, now I spend almost 3 to 4 hours a day. Interesting in our garden. Mass transportation. Prior to pandemic, we are easy to get the mass transportation, whether the timetable and we are easy. Okay. Okay, we are easy. So which one do you think is easier, before the pandemic or after the pandemic?
Before the pandemic.
So you can use the comparative form. How do we make the how do we use the comparative form over here? Prior to the pandemic,
we are easier.
it was
We were easier.
It was easier.
It was easier. It was easier to get mass transportation, whether the timetable or if you use whether you want to use or whether the timetable or the number of transportation. What is the difference between number and amount? When do we use it?
I think this number is more countable and the amount is what is called relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over here, Tamara, what do we use? Amount or number? Is it amount?
Whether the timetable and I don't think you say amount of transportation. Very easy to get the mass transportation, whether it is the timetable or
number of bus, maybe number of bus.
It's
type
the
of
number
transportation.
Number of transportation
units.
units.
I would say frequency. The frequency of the public transportations.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, I think we did this one. Yeah, prior to pandemic, it was easier. So again, using the comparative form would be useful when you want to compare past and present, and also you can also compare 3 using the superlative, the highest out of 3, the lowest out of 3, the most difficult out of 3, etc. Yeah. Okay. So I am very happy to see the feedback that I got from you during the workshop. Okay, so now I think I'm going to open the Q&A session, or Mr. Yep, I think we can just go directly, Mr. Yadin. Yep. Okay. So I think I want to start the Q before I want to start the Q&A session by answering Haryo's question. Yeah. Haryo actually asked me the information that we took from the data. Do we select them? Which one to emphasize? That is the first question. You as a presenter, you have the control to actually choose which data do you want to emphasize, right? And therefore, you need to select what do you think is the most important information from your data. So the answer would be yes, yeah? You are the one selecting which part of the data do you want to emphasize on. Okay, and then the second question, you read or you heard Noor's sentence, I think, and she was explaining two different things. Is it possible to do that? Yeah, I'm going to put the chart back, and she was comparing Israel as the country with the highest increase, although Russia actually was the country with the highest number of working hours. Yeah, something like that. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible for you to contrast two different things, although they're not actually in the same, it's not apple to apple, if I can say that. It is possible. Yeah, because it is an important fact that she was highlighting. So although Israel experienced the highest increase, the highest country with the number of working hours was actually Russia. So you state two facts at the same time, right? Okay. Any other questions that you want to ask?
Miss, can I ask the question?
Yes, go ahead.
Is it possible for us to present the data, such as the percentage, but this percentage is not present in the data, but we count it first, or we just present the data as the chart given.
So
can you explain a little bit more, Yudhishthira? What do you mean by like the percentage is not there?
Oh yes, something like for example, like the daily working hours is only time monthly to monthly, but it is possible for me to make it a percentage. While in that data itself, there's no percentage, or we need not do that.
Okay. I think what you meant, although in the chart you don't see any percentages.
Yes, of course.
Is it possible for you to present the data using percentages?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, why not? Although you will have a lot of homework to do before you present the chart, because then you would have to convert, for example, how much is 32 minutes? How many percentage is a 32-minute increase for Israel, for United States, for example, because that country started with 6.7 hours, and then it became 7 point something. So this is something that you actually, mathematically you have to, it's a math homework.
Okay.
And I don't know whether it would be something that you would be willing to do. Yeah.
Can I just add a little bit?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Yudhishthira. So actually, it makes the whole presentation a little bit more interesting, because then you're using different types of vocab and how to actually saying it differently.
Yeah.
So you would say like, okay, well, the number doubled by so many percent. instead of saying, okay, it becomes twice as much, or is it the number is 50%, it was 25% before, right? So by just saying like the number doubled in the last year makes it a little bit more interesting than just saying from 25% to 50%.
Oh.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I think if the, what do you call it? If we were referring to this data, that means you have to make it into percentages, right? Yeah. But in so many cases, yes, we do. If it's easy for you to convert that number or that data into percentages, then it would be would make your presentation more relatable, more understandable, because people can say, oh yeah, 50% is half, 100% is double, things like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I think just because you were mentioning percentage, we often use pie charts to as the visual, right, to talk about percentages. So this would also give the audience what do you call it, a clearer picture if you want to talk about percentages. Yeah, but that was a good question, Yudhishthira. And just for this one, then we would have to count, because me and Tamara were trying to do that, and we had to figure out how many percentages was the increase. Oh yeah. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, let me see the chat box.
Oke, di chat box sepertinya tidak ada
Oke.
pertanyaan. Kalau misalkan ada yang mau bertanya lagi, silahkan. Sebelum nanti kita akan mengirimkan link feedbacknya. Jadi link feedbacknya belum kami kirimkan ya, Bu. Ya, tadi Ibu siapa? Maaf di sini dengan Ibu, sorry.
Ibu Fuka.
Ya, mungkin Bapak Fuka mungkin ya.
Bapak Fuka Gunawan.
Masih belum perlu kirimkan sebentar lagi ya. Ada pertanyaan?
Yeah, I think before, if there are no other questions, Mas Yadin, I just want to say thank you for all the participants who are still here up until the end of the workshop. I also thank you for your enthusiasm, your engagement, and also how well you participated in the workshop. And I do hope that the workshop has been useful, and then you can apply the language and knowledge that we have given here today, and for you to become a better and more efficient presenter. Okay, I think that's it from me. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next workshop. Okay, I'm giving it back to Mr. Yadin. Thank you.
Oke, ya. Terima kasih Miss Desi untuk pemaparan materinya yang sangat menarik sekali ya Miss ya. Bahkan tadi ada yang sempat japri juga Miss. Sepertinya ini tidak cukup kalau cuma satu sesi saja. Katanya harus ada sesi lainnya.
Yes.
Ya mungkin nanti ya kita akan mengadakan lagi. Ya nanti kita akan mengadakan untuk yang di bulan Desember ya Miss ya, untuk yang workshop tanggal 4 Desember.
Yes.
Ya, baik. Bapak Ibu sekalian, terima kasih sudah mengikuti acara hari ini. Silakan bisa mengisi feedback form yang sudah kami kirimkan di chat box. Silakan diisi dengan lengkap ya untuk nama, kemudian alamat email dengan secara benar ya, karena nanti kami akan mengirimkan untuk yang e-certificate ke email masing-masing, dan juga akan kami berikan juga TBI vouchers, yaitu ada dua, ada yang Rp1.000.000 dan juga yang Rp5.000.000. Untuk ketentuan dari voucher tersebut nanti bisa hubungi kami. Ya. Dan perlu kami informasikan juga ke Bapak Ibu sekalian bahwa untuk workshop berikutnya silakan bisa ikuti atau juga bisa follow sosial media kami. Untuk Instagramnya ada di @TBI Pondok Indah _ kemudian ada juga @tbi.corporate. Facebook kami di TBI Pondok Indah dan TBI Corporate Training. Website kami di www.tbi.co.id. Dan juga untuk WhatsApp chat kami di 0822 9999 5052 dan di 0895 4119 50535. Baik, sebelum kita akhiri acara hari ini, sepertinya kita harus foto session terlebih dahulu ya untuk semuanya. Bisa untuk dibuka videonya karena kita akan mengadakan sesi foto. Ayo, yang belum dibuka. Di sini ada dua ini ya, ada dua slide. Nanti tunggu sampai semuanya sudah dibuka videonya.
Mulai diprediksi di Indonesia. Silahkan dicek ya. Oke. Yang kedua adalah apa?
Sebentar, ini yang di slide kedua masih belum ada dibuka videonya. Ayo semuanya kita akan berfoto terlebih dahulu.
Dari saya cukup sekian dan terima kasih.
Oke, kita bisa mulai dari sekarang ya. Nanti setelah hitungan ketiga kita sebutkan cheese. Oke, 2 kali ya untuk fotonya ya. 1, 2, 3, cheers.
Sharingnya. Terima kasih sekali atas kehadirannya juga.
Satu lagi, 1, 2, 3, cheers.
Sampai ketemu lagi ya Pak ya.
Ya.
Oke. Saya mengajukan 2 pertanyaan.
Untuk fotonya sudah oke ya.
Kayaknya sih udah ini ya Pak, pertanyaannya sih mudah ya, karena udah sering banget.
Oke, baik semuanya. Sekali lagi terima kasih atas kehadirannya hari ini dan nanti bisa ditunggu juga informasi dari kami untuk workshop kami yang akan datang. Untuk waktu workshop hari ini saya tutup dan selamat siang.
Thank you so much.
Terima kasih semuanya.
Thank you.
Terima kasih Bude semuanya TBI.
Everyone, Kila.
Bye.
Bye.
Ya, terima kasih semuanya.
Have a good weekend, guys.
You too.